The very purpose of any business is to earn profits and to enhance or maximize its shareholders' wealth. The shareholders are the owners of the company. In order to augment or increase or maximize the shareholders or owners' wealth, the company will have its own financial plan in order to know the financial requirements. It is the function of the financial manager to prepare the financial plan, both long term and short term. The financial manager will prepare financial plan taking into account the company policy and the help of production manager, marketing manager and other colleagues in the company. And the financial manager thus will prepare both the long term financial plan and the short term financial plan. The planning for future business operations for a period extending beyond 1 year is called the long term financial planning. The planning for current and future business operations for a period less than a year is called the short term financial plan. Thus, the financial plan will be prepared by the financial manager based on the financial requirements. The long term financial plan will be prepared based on the long term financial requirements, and the short term financial plan will be prepared based on the short term financial requirements. The long term financial requirements are fixed assets. The fixed assets are the land and building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixtures, and vehicles for office use, intangible assets, etc. The intangible assets refer to incurring certain expenditures at the starting of the business. For instance, preliminary expenses, lawyers' fees, chartered accountants' fees, company registration fees, etc. Similarly, the short term plan will be prepared based on the short term financial requirements or short term assets or current assets. The current assets are raw material, work in progress, work in process, book debts or debtors. The book debts or debtors will arise on account of the credit sale. It means the company will sell the finished products to its customers either on cash basis or on credit basis. If the company sells its goods to its customers on credit, the book debts will arise. The book debts or debtors will be converted into cash over a short period of time. Thus, the financial manager or manager of finance will prepare the financial plan based on the financial requirement. Now, to have the practical information, let us discuss the aspects pertaining to financial plan with Mr. S. Tirumalai. Now, we have with us Mr. Tirumalai. Mr. Tirumalai is a chartered accountant and chartered secretary and a law graduate with high academic and professional attainment. He had over 30 years of experience both in manufacturing companies and the public financial institutions. He was deputed to work with British American Tobacco. Till recently, he worked as Deputy Managing Director of VST Industries Limited. At present, he is Management Consultant. He has also attended the prestigious Advanced Management Program conducted by the Harvard Business School, USA. Mr. Tirumalai, you have the lot of experience and you have been involved in making financial plan and in making the management decisions pertaining to the financial requirements and raising of resources and utilization of resources. Could you share your experience in connection with the preparation of financial plan, both the long term financial plan and the short term financial plan? And uh, and also please explain about the various sources from which the company will raise money for business operations.
Dr. Chandraya, before looking at the short term requirements and long term requirements, let us look at the objective of financial planning. The objective of financial planning is to support the overall corporate plan of the company and its objective. And invariably, this objective is to enhance the shareholders' wealth in the business.
Right.
The areas of financial planning are normally in 5 parts. They deal with capital structure, they deal with capital expenditure, they deal with working capital, they deal with the various profitability control measures, and they also deal with taxation, planning and management information system. These are the 5 areas of financial planning, and the objective of all these 5 areas in terms of planning as a process of management is to aid and assist the overall corporate plan for enhancing shareholder value. Having said that, the short term and long term requirements that you talked about, which feature in the financial planning process, essentially come out of the corporate plan, as I said, because the corporate plan normally talks about a certain growth, a certain investment, and these investments, in order to achieve the growth over a period of time, are either long term investments or short term investments. Long term investments are basically in those areas, those assets which we retain in the business, like land and building, plant and machinery, technology, payments and so on. Whereas short term requirements essentially are in the form of working capital requirements. That means investments required for stocks, investment requires for various day to day operational expenses of the business, and investments required for other assets which are in the process of what we call the working capital cycle, so that they could be converted into finished products and sold to our customers and again converted back into cash.
It means the short term investments are required for meeting the current assets, I mean.
Short term investments are, one could say, are basically in relation to current assets, and current assets, as I explained, are stocks, debtors, receivables and expenses. Debtors basically arise as a part of the working capital cycle. As I told you, when we start the working capital process with cash, the cash is invested in buying raw materials. We can buy raw materials either by paying cash, or we can get credit from our suppliers and buy raw materials, but that credit we will have to repay after a period of 30 days, 45 days or 60 days. With these raw materials, we then apply labor, we use consumables, spend for money or cash for that. We convert the raw materials into semi finished products and the semi-finished products into finished products. So, cash is now in the form of raw materials, in the form of various expenses that we have paid to our labor and for buying consumables, and it is also in the form of semi-finished products and finished products.
Right.
These finished products could be sold to our customers either for cash or for credit.
Yeah.
If it is for cash, then you automatically recover back whatever cash you put in the first place in this cycle, and again the cycle keeps on going. But if you sell for credit, then there is a delay in recovering the cash that you originally invested, and that delay is the period that your customer takes to pay back, which could be 30 days, 45 days or 60 days. Once he pays back that money, it again goes back as part of cash into this cycle which keeps
starts.
on operating in the business throughout the 365 days.
Okay, sir, fine. You have explained about the long term financial requirements and the short term financial requirements, fine, sir. What are the main sources of funds usually the company raises and utilizes for its business financial requirements?
Dr. Chandraya, the finances raised by a company broadly can be classified from two sources. Those sources are own money
And borrowed money.
or borrowed money.
Yeah.
Own money consists of share capital, which is invested into the business by the shareholders. It also consists of profits retained in the business year to year without the shareholders taking away from the business, and that is what we call retained profits or reserves
And
in the
surplus.
business. The other source is the borrowed money. Borrowed money consists of either long term borrowings or short term borrowings.
Right.
Whenever a borrowing, generally speaking, is to be repaid over a period of beyond a period of 1 year, we call that borrowing a medium term or a long term borrowing. When you have to repay the borrowing within a period of 1 year, 365 days, we call that as short term borrowing. Long term borrowings come from term lending institutions like IDBI, IFCI, ICICI, or from raising debentures or loan capital, long term loan capital for a period of 7 years, 10 years and so on. It also comes from foreign currency loans which are for like periods, whereas short term borrowing essentially comes from banks, because these are in the form of cash credit or overdraft for the purpose of financing working capital requirements.
Mr. Tirumalai, one more question pertaining to capital structure. What is the ideal proportion of the borrowed funds to owners' funds? I mean, what is the ideal ratio of debt equity?
Dr. Chandraya, there is nothing sacrosanct about a single ratio.
Yeah.
I think we should have this clearly established. As I said, you use own money and you use borrowed money. What proportion of own money and what proportion of borrowed money essentially depends on the profitability of the business. If a business is highly volatile, there is no clear indication about its profitability, future profitability. It is better to have larger proportion of own money rather than borrowed money, because the whole purpose of using borrowed money is to enhance the value to the owners of the business by a judicious use, because in the case of own money, the reward for own money is in the form of dividend, whereas the reward for borrowed money is in the form of interest.
Interest.
Interest is an allowable expenditure for purpose of tax calculations
Yeah.
in the business, whereas dividend payments are not tax deductible.
Yeah.
Therefore, there is an opportunity to use own money, less of own money and more of borrowed money when there is a clear indication about the future profitability of the business. Normally, a debt equity of 1:1 is considered quite safe, but there is, as I said, there is nothing sacrosanct about it, because it is fundamentally a function of the future profitability of the business, represented by the future cash streams that arise out of this profitability process in the next 2 to 3 or 5 years.
You have elaborately explained various aspects pertaining to financial planning. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for being with us today and participating in this TV lesson.
Thank you.
Having heard from Mr. Tirumalai the aspects pertaining to financial plan and capital structure, let us further analyze the capital structure. The capital structure is nothing but the composition of use of borrowed funds and owners funds in the financing mix. Let us take one example and analyze the effect of use of borrowed funds in the company in the financing mix in the capital structure. Let us presume that there are 3 situations: situation A, situation B, situation C in a company. In situation A, let us presume that the owner's funds or the share capital amount is 50 lakhs, and in situation B, the owner's funds is rupees 25 lakhs, and in situation C, the owner's funds is only 10 lakhs, and the company has borrowed the amount in 3 situations. In situation A, let us presume that there are no borrowed funds, and in situation B, the company has borrowed 25 lakhs, and in situation C, the company has borrowed 40 lakhs. It means the total capital of the company will be 50 lakhs, and here also 50 lakhs, and here also 50 lakhs. And here the company has inducted 50% of the borrowed amount in the capital, and here 80% of the total capital, 80% borrowed amount is inducted in the total capital. And let us presume that the rate of return on investment of a company is 20%. The 20% on capital, the rate of return on investment will be 10 lakhs, and here also 10 lakhs, here also 10 lakhs. And the company has borrowed in situation A nothing, and in situation B 25 lakhs, and in situation C 40 lakhs. For these borrowed amounts, the company is required to pay interest at the rate of 10%. The 10% interest on borrowed amount will be, here it is 0 because there are no borrowed funds, and in situation B 2,50,000 the company is required to pay 10% of 25 lakhs, and in situation C 10% of 40 lakhs will come to 4 lakhs. And if we deduct the interest that the company is required to pay to the debt holders, the result figure is, or the net amount, or the profit before tax or profit after interest and before tax will be here 10 lakhs, because there is no interest is required to be paid to the debt holders as the company has not borrowed the amount. And here the result figure is 7,50,000, and in the third instance or C situation 6 lakhs. So, this is after deducting the interest amount from the earnings of the company. This amount is profit before tax, that is profit after interest before tax, and from these earnings the company is required to pay tax. Let us presume that the tax rate is 40%. The 40% on the earnings of the company will be 4 lakhs a year, and 40% on 7.5 lakhs will be 3 lakhs a year, and 40% on 6 lakhs will be 2.4 lakhs. Here the interest already deducted and tax is to be deducted from the earnings. The net result will be profit after tax. Here in situation A, the profit after tax is 6 lakhs, and in situation B, the profit after tax is 4.5 lakhs, and in situation C, the profit after tax is 3.6 lakhs. Now, we have with us the net figures of the profit after tax. Now, this is the profit arrived at, which is available for distribution to the shareholders. And now, let us see the impact of return on shareholders investment. The shareholders investment here is 50 lakhs in situation A, 25 lakhs in situation B, and 10 lakhs in situation C. Let us see the impact. Here the profit available in situation A rupees 6 lakhs, that should be divided by the shareholders funds 50 lakhs, and the return on shareholders investment will be 12%. And in situation C, if we see, the profit available is 4.5 lakhs divided by the owner's funds 25 lakhs, that is 25 lakhs, which comes to 18%. And in situation C, the profits available to the shareholders are 3.6 lakhs divided by the owner's funds, that is 10 lakhs only. Here the 10 lakhs, that comes to 36%. You see the impact of use of debt in financing mix or in the capital structure. As in situation C, the company has increased the debt amount to the extent of 80% of the total capital. Then the shareholders returns or the returns on shareholders investment is increased to 36% compared to situation A, where there are no borrowings at all. So, here the situation A, only 12% earnings are there, or earnings rate or rate of investment on equity shareholders is only 12%. Here we can see the two situations, that is trading on thick equity, trading on thin equity. If the proportion of borrowed funds is larger compared to owners funds, it is trading on thin equity. It is trading on thin equity. That situation C, we can take the example. The equity is only 10 lakhs and borrowed amounts is 40 lakhs. So, it is trading on thin equity, whereas in situation A, there are no borrowed amounts, it is the trading on thick equity. The company is trading only on the shareholders funds or the owners funds. But what is the ideal situation here? The ideal situation is the C. As you increase the borrowed amount and the company is able to increase the returns to the shareholders, the company is able to augment or enhance or maximize its shareholders' wealth. So, here the ideal situation is the C instead of the A, where there are no borrowed amounts. So, the financial plan should be made very carefully. Otherwise, if the overestimation is made based on the financial plan will be prepared based on the financial requirements. So, if overestimation is made, that will lead to overcapitalization or underutilization of the capital. That may lead further to fall in profits and further fall in the market value of share. Similarly, the underestimation may lead to the undercapitalization, or the undercapitalization situation may lead the company to financial difficulties. And therefore, the financial planning pertaining to financial requirements, both the long term requirements and short term requirements, the other expenses to be incurred for working capital, etc., is to be made very carefully, and the required finance should be raised from various sources as required, and the proper allocation of funds, that is the judicious allocation of funds to the various uses, is very important.